everyone, it's David Ross, I'm John, and I'm Crystal, and welcome back to another episode of our American Ninja Warrior podcast. We are really sorry for this really long wait due to the coronavirus. We had a really hard time getting together for this one, but due to that, we are just going to be covering mostly the entirety of the first episodes of American Ninja Warrior Jr. today. Everything, it's just going to be covered in this one big, ginormous podcast. John, since no one has seen or heard you in the last couple of months, how are you doing? I'm doing just fine, if you needed to ask. And today we're just going to talk about the first episodes of American Ninja Warrior Jr., since those have aired. So, I guess we'll just get on to the episode. Alright, so starting off with the actual opening movie for the episode, it was alright. I enjoyed the song for it. But, Crystal, did you have any extra opinions on it? I think it was alright. They definitely did better last time with the song choice, but listening to the whole thing is definitely a lot better from the full thing perspective. I never liked how the music videos have people interrupting and stuff. Yeah, I see what you mean. The Junior Ninjas, they were very powerful. They were really nice last year, and I just like how this song feels the inspiration. Yeah, this show is more about rising up to a challenge. This is the moment, so I think the song in that sense really does fit the mood and tone of the show. So, yeah. So before we get into this episode, do you have any non-spoiler related opinions that you wanna just douse that? Well, I like the new obstacles. I said non-spoiler relating. Well, I didn't specifically say what obstacles. People probably already seen it by now. Well, anyway, I enjoyed the new obstacles. I enjoyed the new Junior Ninjas. I just really enjoyed the season overall as a whole. But this episode, it wasn't too bad. It gets a lot better as we go on because we get more returning veterans and stuff. And especially with the 13-foot-year-olds, it was really intense. Probably my favorite ninja for this episode was Ninja Cow. Okay, so let's get into the first one. Adil Bondo versus Brandy Brownfield. So, talking about Brandy real quick. Crystal, you want to take over? Sure. So, Brandy, she is a bunny lover. She had a really early injury in gymnastics when she was 8 years old, and a bunny was able to cheer her up while she was in recovery for 3 months. And after this, at 10 years old, she decided to become a member of a bunny saving foundation, where basically bunnies go to comfort people who are in bad places. And in the little poem, we see a guy who's in a wheelchair who can't move much. He has that little thing on his neck, so yeah, you just feel bad for him. But I think her story is a little bit relatable, but to be completely honest, not the best I've seen. It was a little entertaining. It was, yeah. So anyway, on to the race. It was very even throughout. And so going on to the new obstacles that we haven't discussed yet. Great job, David. No, round of applause for David. You forgot to put that in the script. We didn't put a script. Line potential. Anyway, new obstacles. We'll start with the 9 and 10-year-old age group. We still have the shrinking steps from last time, but for the second obstacle, for all the age groups, we have the Big Dipper. So this is probably my favorite new obstacle here for all the age groups. Simply just because I like the style. It's had a lot of bad and misfit fails, Yeah, I'd say the same for all age groups. So yeah. And the 9 and 10-year-olds, the third obstacle was the Spider Walk, which wasn't my favorite originally, but I do like how at least there was a margin of error of everyone trying to go fast. I see what you mean. And for the 11 and 12-year-olds, that was the double tilt ladder, where lots of ninjas, surprisingly enough, went for the early dismount off the second ladder, kind of like some did Ninja vs. Ninja. Yeah, I really did like that obstacle. It caused a lot of confusion. Then in the 13, 14-year-olds, it was the Crazy Cliffhanger, as they called it, but I freaking hate the fact that they used that name because that's from Sasuke and nothing else. Yeah, thanks for that! So anyway, the Crazy Cliffhanger was basically just a little quick cliffhanger section, and really no one fails it, I mean, so far. And it really is just a time waster because of how easy, like, you can see, like, those glyphs, they're not really cliffhanger glyphs. I mean, they're there, but you can they're a lot easier to hold on, which is expected because there are the Junior Ninjas, and plus you're racing. Yeah, I was kind of shocked they put a cliffhanger there. Alright, so for all the ninjas, the fourth obstacle was block 1, and I was really happy they changed the floating tires, because the floating tires, they made that super easy, and not even an obstacle. I believe maybe 2 people failed it. So, yeah. Then came, for the 5th obstacle, for 9-10-year-olds, we had the flying squirrel, which is my second favorite of the 3. I really did enjoy this obstacle a lot. For the 11-12-year-olds, wing nuts. Oh yeah, like the wing nuts! That was unexpected, but very welcomed addition. Sadly, the wing nuts are made a little easier. You can see the grips are a little bit different. And I don't believe there's any plexiglass there, unlike the actual one. And for the 13-14-year-olds, this obstacle is the skyhooks, which is my favorite variation of all of them. Mine too. I kind of like the flying squirrel, but keep on going. So, this, the skyhooks works the same way, but I really like how intense it was. Every single time, the battle on this thing was just awesome to watch. People taking risks, people going all over the place. It was really cool, especially in this episode, because it took out one of the best ninjas who made it to the finals last time. Yeah, so overall, and then we had the warp wall, obviously, same rules as last time. But, anyway, aside from that, I really like the obstacles for these qualifying. And by the way, the structure's different this time. John, you want to explain that real quick? Yeah. So, for the structure, we have 4 quarterfinal, we have 3 qualifiers, instead of quarterfinal. No, then we have another 3 qualifiers, then a quarterfinal, then so on and so forth. We are going to have 4 of those, and 4 junior ninjas from each age group go to the final, where all 4 of them will battle for the title of Junior Ninja Champion. So, any predictions on who's going to go for? I was hoping Taylor Green. Don't say was, that's spoiling stuff. Yeah, that episode 4 was pretty tight. Yeah, well, admit, because it was the first one. Okay, so, let's get back to that race. Adele Bondo and Brady Brownfield. It was just a lot of fun to watch them both with attempt, of course. And it was a huge battle. Brady took the lead for most of the race, but after getting off the flying squirrel, she tripped on the warp wall, letting Adele catch up. And then again, she missed the handhold on the warp wall, and Adele managed to get the buzzer just barely, getting him the win. So I was kind of sad that was how it went down, but I was also pretty happy that, it was so close that they were able to let him catch up. Yeah, admittedly, I do like how pretty much every race, unless someone fails early, which happens a lot here, especially the Big Dipper. Every race, it's pretty close. Sometimes you can't tell who won, and they have to go slow by slow. I think I might have happened once, actually, here. In this season, but in the last season, they had a couple of those. Yeah, but every race, it's more engaging. The new obstacles make the course a lot fun to watch, because last time, the course wasn't the best. I mean, aside from the 13-14-year-olds course, it was never really too interesting. Yeah. And speaking of the 13-14-year-olds, they got their first obstacle change to the falling steps, so that returned. Yeah, we forgot to mention that. It's very good that they had that, though, to be completely honest. Okay, so, yeah, that was the one opinions on the 2 of them. Well, they mentioned that Adele is a black belt in Taekwondo, and I do Taekwondo. I do a former karate myself. Yeah, David's a red belt? Yeah, red belt. So, he's close. We're not going to talk anymore about it because we don't need to. Yep. No need to at all. And that's not because we're lying. We actually are red belts. Well, he is. I'm just no one. Shut up. Alright, so the second race was between McKenna Cook, who was a veteran from last season, and one of Crystal's favorites, if I recall correctly. Yes, I really want her to go far. Her this season and last season. I really just enjoyed her inspiration. And Neil Sakawi. Great. So anyway, the two faced off, and this is just hilarious. Neil fell on the Big Dipper. He just held on to the ball too long, couldn't reach the net, giving McKenna Cook an easy win. And yeah, he doesn't really show much off in that first race, but it's disappointing, and I kind of wish that she was given more of a challenge. Yeah, when you see big veterans go down like that, or just people in general, you really just feel like, did they just get lucky or something? That's a good point. Think about the other competitors. They just got lucky because they probably would have had a better challenge if the other competitor wasn't just so bad. Probably not that. Okay, and speaking of which, McKenna does talk with the host, with the new Cyber recorder, who is a new Olympic skier who we're not going to bother mentioning because we're never going to mention her ever again. Blah, blah, blah. She's stupid. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. And unlike Lori, she at least looks like she actually does a little bit of her actual exercise. Lori never, to me, looked like a runner. She was just too fat for it. Dude, that's just mean. I'm sorry, I'm just stating my honest opinion. Yeah, in terms of ninja mentors, for this first episode, we had the Barclay Stockton returning for the 9 and 10-year-olds. The asshole known as Grant McCartney returning for the coming in for the 11 and 12-year-olds, and Drew Drescher, who was originally on the 9 and 10-year-olds last year, going to the 13 and 14-year-olds. So, any opinions on these guys aside from the asshole known as Grant McCartney? You call him the a-hole known as Grant McCartney. I don't like making these videos for kids. I don't blame you. But, yeah, I am okay with, Barclay. I'm okay with Drew. McCartney, I'm so glad, has only made 2 appearances, one as talking to the kids and one as showing off an obstacle. As that tips and tricks section does return, just not as frequently. Yeah, I'm still wondering how much the ninjas, the ninja mentors had to get paid. You know, that's a good question. How much did they have to pay them? You know what? Question of the day. How much do you think the ninja mentors got paid to help out on the course for the tips and tricks, or just literally anything they did on the show? Let us know how much money you think they actually got paid. I want to see what you guys think about that. So, yeah, that was the second race. Next up was a Dale Bonda versus Neo something, who fell on the Big Dipper again. I don't really care at all. Yeah, he did the exact same thing last time. Held on at the Big Dipper too long and giving Adil Bono a free win. Really disappointed in this guy. Really don't care. But, yeah, then the second matchup was between so that was a fast-forward race, and I kind of get that considering the fact that it really wasn't all that entertaining to watch. I'm shocked that they didn't fast-forward this idiot's first race, but whatever. The second semi-finals matchup was McKenna Cook versus Brady Brownfield. They talked about McKenna Cook real quick, and it was mostly about how she just trained a little more for this season, how unbelievable it was for her to compete last season, and how disappointing that was for her. They did not talk about that. Well, I could have just input it, just edit it in there, and do the impression of Akbar, you. I mean, do we have anyone volunteering? I mean, you guys could send in some kind of Akbar person. No, let's make them do that. You guys can send in a Akbar person. Just make sure to email it at the Gmail address on screen if you guys want to show us your best as Akbar person. We just bump in with 2 questions of the days right there. Well, the second one wasn't really a question. Well, still. Yeah, but, anyway, next up. So, yeah. Keeping on talking about this, Brady Brownfield ended up falling on the spider wall. She ended up just slipping right off. And McKenna Cook got another easy win. So, I think it's pretty clear that the only reason why she won last 2 matches because she got lucky with her 2 competitors failing at the second and third obstacle, respectively. That's a little overestimated, but I think you might be right on that one. If she was actually given a challenge, like the first race, then I think it might have actually worked out a lot better. Yes. Yeah, but I am really happy that she was able to move on to the final race. I was really hoping for her to move on to the finals. So, yeah, but that is about to the finals, and yeah. So speaking of which, the final matchup was between her and Dill. So, shockingly enough, we did not hear about Dill in this matchup because it was at the end of the episode. But Dill managed to carve out the win. Yep, he was able to take it out and move on to the quarterfinals. So congrats to him as he's our first 9 and 10 quarterfinalist. Yeah. Alright, so moving on to the 11-12 years, the first race was between Henry Robinson and Lucas Saventi. So, real quick about Henry Robinson, does anyone think he looks like Will Robinson from Lost in Space on Netflix? That is a good point, he kind of does look like him. And the fact is, he still has the same last name, too. Okay, so moving on to Lucas, he is pretty much a mythologist at heart. Yeah, basically. He's basically a monk. So he follows Greek and Roman mythology, reading about it, and he's currently working on a book about one of the gods, a god of poetry and archery, I believe. The race was pretty even throughout it, and something I really do want to mention is, on Henry Robinson's biography, Akbar mentioned his favorite snack was Lake Pasta. Now, first off, I've never even heard of that. I'll probably put a picture on the screen for you guys. But I've actually never heard of this, and 2, that seems like a weird info for Ninja. Yeah, I thought it was like, he better chew down this course. It just makes no sense. Sharing a kid's favorite snack, like, they share that when they have nothing else to share. That is a good point. Like, let's go to Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for? My favorite snack, Lake Pasta. It just seems like a weird thing to say, even if it's just like a fun fact about him. So, yeah, anyway, the race went on, and it was Henry who had got a lead on block 1 and was able to keep that lead on the wing nuts. Lucas was behind for the wing nuts for most of it, but he was able to try to keep it close, but Henry ended up coming in with a win. And yeah, so I was thinking, in terms of favorites in that race, I wanted Lucas to win just because I was more interested in his story than Henry's, even though the funny joke about the Lake Pasta was pretty funny. But we didn't hear anything about Henry. Well, no story or anything, anyway. Yeah, I see what you mean. But, yeah, very great to these 2 junior ninjas. So, the second matchup was between returning veteran Taylor Green, and Rhea Linton. So, real quickly about Taylor Green, she kept on, her coming in 4th place last time, led her to inspire many girls to try Ninja, and her just having a lot of fun doing it. It was just about her inspiration to everyone else and just her time on the course last season. mountain, and she's actually been a gymnast since age 1, which I'm not sure is actually possible, but who knows? You know what? Something I'm thinking about I might do after this podcast is look up. Just look up. Oh. Did you just hit the mic? Yes, I did just hit the mic. Why did you just hit the mic, dude? I wasn't trying to. Then, on shocking news, breaking news, David Ross hit the mic with a karate chop. More on the story as it develops. Shut! Ow, dude. You did not need to. Ow! Stop doing that. Well, we have a news story of breaking news. No news storying from any of you. God damn it, Don. Well, you did to me about twice. Oh, okay. So, anyway, and the other one, we went to Linton is a level 9 dictus, and I just banked the microphone again. Breaking news. Okay, we should stop with this joke. Alright. So anyway, she is a level 9 gymnast, and it was just a battle of the gymnasts, and not shockingly enough, Taylor Green was able to get the lead on the tilting ladders, getting an early dismount, and then was able to quit the course. Woohoo! Yes! Taylor Green was moving on to the knockout round. Well, she would be anyway, but still, it was nice to see her win the race. Woohoo! Okay. Alright, so the next race was between Henry Robinson, who was the winner of his race, and Leah Linton, who was the loser of the last race against Taylor Green. So, Henry Robinson, they talked about him. He is in blacksmithing. Yes, she likes the shaping of it, and blacksmithing, as Akbar said, is a weird hobby to be, especially for a 12-year-old. I mean, what? It's blacksmithing. Although, to be completely honest, blacksmithing isn't really too common. I, never really thought of it as really, a profession. Like, do you get paid for that? I mean, you have to be in order to, I wonder if there's a college for that. Probably, but you probably can't apply to it because of the stupid virus. Good point, John. Okay, so going back, so both of their times were Henry Robinson has had the better time by only 8/100ths of a second, so it would be a heated duel, and it really was. Up to the wingnuts, Leia actually had a pretty good lead, but on the wingnuts, she was a little bit slow. Henry went early to get the lead, and then Leia, while she tried to recover, she couldn't catch up, and it came down to the rope wall, and she lost. So Henry Robinson was moving on to the finals, and yeah, I'm really interested to see how far he would go. I really just enjoyed him, you know. Okay, so the next match, which was a fast forward, was between Michael Taylor Green and Lucas Savenci. So Lucas ended up failing. He got left behind, I assume, on the block one, but it was a fast forward, so I couldn't really tell. But either way, Taylor Green had a landslide lead and ended up winning, so she went up against Henry Robinson in the final. So yeah, speaking of that final, let's check that out real quick. The final was between them two, and Taylor Green was able to take out the win. Really exciting that she was able to move on to the finals, as she is probably the villain to look out, or at least it's here anyway, for the 11 and 12-year-olds. Yeah, I was really happy to see her move on. It was a pretty close race between the two of them, though. Yeah, pretty close indeed. Moving on to the final age of the 13 and 14-year-olds. First up with a matchup between two of my favorite ninjas of everyone's favorite ninjas here, right? Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, it was Ninja Cal, or Cal Fahoki, I believe his name was, and Jonathan Godbell. And both both of these ninjas, their story was mostly just about how they've trained harder. Jonathan Godbell came third place last time, and Ninja Cow was knocked out in the semifinals. Yeah, but just watching them, I really did not know who was going to win. Ninja Cow was talking about how he trained to get more risky, take more chances, just don't be afraid. And that was shown on the way it was pretty even up to the cliffhanger where Jonathan got a slight lead and was able to just carry on. But the Skyhooks, Ninja Cow was able to catch up, and Jonathan Godbell ended up getting circle slided, as I like to call it. Well, he went around in a circle on the wing, while Ninja Cow just went swinging and managed to get the buzzer. Jonathan Godbell, even though they hugged, you can tell he didn't really want to, and it was just really disappointed. He was like, I lost to that moron. He's younger than me. No! Good point. But, yeah, just something to think about. This matchup was really cool. Alright, the second matchup was between two really outstanding female ninjas. Olivia Kasanovich, who is dealing with junior autism. Not autism, I mean arthritis. Yeah, which is basically, if you guys don't know, which you should, since your parents love talking about it. I mean, most likely, unless they're very young. But, yeah, many adults talk about arthritis and how it's basically the stiffness of the joints. I mean, they're very hard to move after just like a few tough movements. Like sometimes it's so bad that they can't even move at all, like paralyzed. It's like a junior version of paralyzed. It's like you're not really paralyzed, but you have a hard time moving. I guess you can have it like that. But anyway, Olivia's stuff was from this, and you're not really supposed to get it till probably your late 30s should be the earliest cases of it. And Rose Lord was the other competitor, and she, aside from being called Rose Lord, like the Lord of the Rose, she really wasn't all that special. She apparently competed last year, but I do not remember. Not really either. I'll probably show something from her last year or something. I don't know. Oh, I may just not. I don't know. Or you'd be seeing in the video. But anyway, the two clashed, and it was Olivia with the win. Yeah. So, think about it now. So, the two were going in and really nice. Rose actually had the lead for quite a bit of it, but she actually hesitated at the wall, letting Olivia take it and win. Yeah, she just straight up stopped to get a running start, and Olivia took that chance, like, I'm going! I've been behind this whole way, so I'm going for that buzzard! And she managed to get there first, so really nice. I like how close the race was, but I think even if she, Rose didn't stop, she might have still lost because of how slow she got up the wall. And it could have possibly be because she, lost, so she didn't find a point of getting up there fast, but she was just, like, struggling after, like, you saw she put up with the, yeah. I see what you mean just looking at it. Alright, so in the next matchup we're seeing Cowboys, or Ninja Cow, as you guys might know him as, and Rose Lord. And so the two of them clashed, and Ninja Cow had the edge for most of the way, being ahead for most of it. And Rose ended up falling, but Ninja Cow was able to bring on the win, so he was in the final matchup. Alright, so the next matchup was between arthritis girl Olivia Fiakonovich and Jonathan Godbell. So they talked a little bit more about Olivia, and she's had it since she was 8, and it really has defined her. She did a lot of sports when she was younger, but when she was diagnosed and her ankles and most of her lower body started to just ache, she had to quit most of her sports. And that's where she got into rock climbing, because it involves more of the upper body less than the lower body. I mean, there's some in there. I mean, if you've done it, you know, but there's a lot more upper body in there. And there's grip, and yeah. She is a speed climber, and she just showing off on the course. I think even though she lost, I think she is a very inspiring ninja. That is a great way to put it. Except for the fact that you just spoiled it. Thanks. But anyway, as John might have just told you, it ended up being Jonathan Godbell with the win, and it was really close throughout it, but Olivia clearly struggled. She got behind on the big dip, but it wasn't able to recover. But her just representing for those girls was just awesome. So Jonathan, he still had trouble on the sky hooks, but Olivia fell, and plus Jonathan was ahead, so it was kind of even. And Jonathan still had trouble. He was going in circles by the end of it, but Olivia just missed the fall, missed a win. God. But yeah, that meant that the final matchup was a rematch between Jonathan Godbell and Ninja Cow. So yeah, going right to this matchup was awesome. We got to see Ninja Cow's risk-taking strategies right there. So Jonathan Godbell took the lead in the early parts of the wave, so Ninja Cow trying to catch up throughout it. And Ninja Cow, now he took a very big risk. Jonathan, even though he had the technique of using that second wing to steady himself, Ninja Cow was able to catch up. Jonathan Godbell, after that second jump, he got really twisted, and Ninja Cow was able to catch up with two very quick jumps with no swing in between, and was able to hit the buzzer just barely and win. So he was moving into the finals, and I am really happy Ninja Cow got to move on. And that grabbed Jonathan Godbell first place in the wildcard spot. Yeah, in this, now, the wildcard will be commencing. So the top two competitors from each age group will battle for that fourth spot in the quarterfinals, which is why it's every fourth episode instead of every fifth episode. Yeah, I kind of do like the wildcard thing. It gives Ninja Stars the comeback, and especially with the 13 and 14-year-olds in the upcoming episodes, it was a really big battle. I get what you mean. But yeah, that was the first episode. So any final thoughts on it before we move on to episode 2? No, not really, but now we can finally say the spoilers. I want to kick out that new host. Oh, the asylum reporter? Yeah. Why do you want to kick her out? I mean, you normally fast forward to that. I probably don't know what it's just boring, you know? I don't see why she gets paid. Again, the paid thing is a little, let's just say, subjective. But, yeah.